Welcome to Stefania's Feelings, episode 3. Today I'm gonna talk to you about stepping up my game and taking a huge step back once again. Yes, I'm getting tired of it myself, so I don't blame if you are getting tired of it too. The release of my first How Do Emotions Work video. Super excited about that. A very heavy subject that touched my heart very deeply this week, involving people being predators. I might have to get out tissues for this one. And I'm also going to talk about joining the PTSD community over the last few weeks. And I really needed that because I had my first PTSD nightmare in 2 years. No fun at all. Let's get started. So in the last episode I talked about stepping up my networking game, and I didn't do that at all. Why didn't I do that? Because I was really confronted with my health. I've been going over my boundaries like crazy these last few weeks, and I think that's a good thing. I think every once in a while I should push my boundaries and go over them just to see what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do. So I figured that out, and I'm gonna focus now on putting out quality content in a slower pace than I have been doing those past few weeks. And when I have a portfolio that I'm proud of, I'm gonna network till I'm blue in the face. So excuse me for taking off my sweater, but it's getting hot in here. It is. So I'm really excited that I've uploaded my first How Do Emotions Work video. It's the first one of a 4-part series. I will be discussing step 1, 2, and 3 of my 5-step program. It's a program to deal with life in general, but in this series I'm specifically focused on emotions. It was always my big secret. It was my big money maker. Back in the day I was in private practice. Well, it was supposed to be my big money maker, and when I was getting on a roll with it, I fell ill. And here we are today in a completely different time, and in trying to become an infopreneur, one of the most important things to do is give out valuable information. And this is for sure the most valuable information I have to give. And that's why I'm so super pumped about it. And it also allows me to fulfill, or partly fulfill, another goal that I always had, and that's to teach the whole world. I know, the whole world. I'm so over the top. That's okay though. About emotions. I think a lot of problems in the world today are caused by people who don't deal with emotions in a healthy way. Just take one example, people holding on to grudges. A lot of those people are just holding on because they don't know how to let go. So this is also going towards that goal. Super excited about it. And I thought of a fun way to end the series. And so after I upload the 4th video, you have from now, this moment, right now, until a week after I upload the 4th video in the emotion series, okay? That's the only time you have to sign up for a free consultation with me. You can ask me about the series, emotions in your life, just questions about spirituality, your life, therapy questions. Just don't ask me to take my top off, okay? Just don't. And you can sign up for it on the homepage of my website. It's a Dutch website, but the contact form will speak for itself. Just fill in your name, your email address, and as a subject, free consultation. If you're here in the area, we can do a live consultation, and all the other ones will be via Skype or via FaceTime. Sign up for it right now. So when I posted my first How Do Emotions Work video, I stated very arrogantly on my Facebook timeline that it would be the most important message I would ever share. And the next day I would post a message that in retrospect was far more important. I was scrolling down my Facebook timeline and I came across a picture of a guy I used to know in a town I used to live in. This is a mentally disabled older man, and you know, some people that are mentally disabled through no fault of their own cause some friction between themselves and society, and this was not one of those people. This is a sweetheart of a man. He's so sweet and he's so kind always to everybody, and the whole town knows him and he talks to everybody, and you know, he lives with his parents and he is self-sufficient enough so he can go grocery shopping by himself or go out to dinner or go out for walks. And apparently at one of these walks, some people thought it was funny to beat him to a pulp so severely that he had to be taken to the hospital. And this picture was shared by police and his family to find witnesses of this heinous attack so they can track down the culprit. So of course I shared this message even though I'm not even close to that area anymore, but it's just so shocking. I mean, I have PTSD. I've been through a lot in my life, but beating up a mentally disabled older man, I mean, how low is that? It's just, it's incomprehensible to me, and luckily it was incomprehensible to the whole town he lives in, because really the whole town was outraged about it. It had a deep impact on me. I couldn't believe it. I thought about it for days. Of course, I sent a card. There's really nothing else to say, is there? No words. No words for this. So I've been joining some PTSD communities, some online communities, and I really didn't know they were out there. I was promoting my vlog on Instagram and I said hashtag PTSD, and some communities reached out to me and I was like, oh wow, these communities are out there and I can join them, great. So I joined and I went in there to really to give support, and I would love to receive support of course, but when you haven't received support as long as I have, then you just learn to adjust and you don't expect to receive support anymore. So when I started receiving support, it really brought me to tears. They were saying the exact right words at the exact right time, and I really feel I no longer have to go through this alone, because I have felt like that for a long time. And I'm just so it's very helpful to me to see that there's this enormous group of people that are also low energy, and because they're low energy, their house is a mess, and because of that they can't, because they have low energy, they can't work, and if they're able to work, they crash as soon as they get home. So much of the same things that I'm going through, a lot of physical complaints we're all going through. It's been so helpful to really realize that I'm no longer alone. And just thank you so much to everybody in a PTSD community for joining, for reaching out, for giving support to me, but also to everybody else. Thank you for the people who founded these communities. Thank you to the admins and moderators to really create safe spaces that are important to us, because unlike spoiled college students, we actually need them. They really really help with the healing process. And yeah, just a big shout out to the community. Thank you so much. So in the last episode, I talked to you about an issue I was having, and breaking through that issue, it split up into separate issues that I had to work on. And at that, I noted I was feeling better than ever. Well, that didn't last that long, because in working through those two other issues, and I used my emotional techniques, and how they can work sometimes, it's like a big sledgehammer just breaking through those old stuffy emotions that are really, really stuck. And as you can imagine, using a sledgehammer, it can create quite a mess. And one of these messes manifested itself as a PTSD nightmare. It was my first one in 2 years, and when you didn't have one in 2 years, you're like, oh, I'm past that, and you don't see it coming at all. So that was very intense to be confronted with that. And the difference between a PTSD nightmare and a regular nightmare is, with a regular nightmare, you're really relieved to wake up. It's like, oh, it was just a nightmare. Oh, it's not real, and I'm good now. It's completely the opposite for PTSD nightmare. I was confronted in that nightmare with feelings that I knew were there, but I hadn't felt in 30 years. And I woke up screaming, and that has only happened to me once before, so that's quite a big deal, and that tells you how deep it is and how terrified I was in the nightmare and in real life after. And I decided to immediately meditate and work through that issue. And in doing so, I fell asleep again, had the same nightmare again, woke up screaming again. Decided to meditate again, work through it, and I didn't fall asleep anymore, but I kept having the same images and feelings on a loop. And 3 hours later, I decided that I couldn't handle it anymore, couldn't physically, emotionally, mentally handle it. So I decided to suppress it, and I did that using cigarettes, chocolate, and potato chips. Very, very unhealthy. I don't recommend it to anyone, but that's kind of the dark side from what I'm dealing with. I try to be this lighting example, and here you see me failing quite hard. And a couple of days ago, I clicked into myself again, and now I'm at a point where I know I've been suppressing it, and I still have to deal with those issues. So I'm very afraid I'm going to have another one of those nightmares. And at the positive side, I actually noticed, even though I was suppressing, and in suppressing one thing, you also suppress a lot of other things, so it makes it very hard to move forward. I actually noticed I was moving forward in other areas, and it was very positive. But overall, at this point, I'm quite confused. I'm not doing too well, and I'm gonna try to power through all this, and I'm gonna let you know how it goes in episode 4 of Stefania's Feelings. I'm looking forward to see what happens, and I hope that you are too. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching.